If you're like a lot of other marketers, you're probably feeling a lot of pressure to pump out content right now. Not only is content important for your traditional SEO strategy, but it's proving to be a core component to success with your AI search strategy. Having content out there can help you earn citations, can help you boost your brand visibility, all that sort of good stuff. And like other businesses, the solution is AI. You use a platform like ChatGPT or Perplexity to put in all your information, ask it for a blog post, take it, slap it up on your website, call it a day. But since a lot of businesses are taking this approach, it's kind of now raising the question of whether or not this usage of AI is causing content overload and fatigue for audiences. And in my opinion, yes. So here's why. With content creation now, there's no barrier to entry. So before, if you wanted to have content on your website, you had to hire a skilled writer who would learn about your products, your services, your messaging, your branding, and then they would compile that all together in a nice little blog post and put it out on your website. If you didn't have it in the budget to hire a writer like that, you were probably behind in the content game. But now, because of AI, anyone can create content. You can just input your specs into ChatGPT, for example, and ask it to create a blog post or an article. Because there's no longer this barrier to entry, it means that anyone can create content. And not only can anyone create content, but it means that businesses can create it quicker. Before, you may have had a business that maybe was putting out content once a week. But now with AI, maybe they can put out 4 pieces of content a week. You multiply that by, let's say, 100 businesses, you're talking about hundreds of pieces of content that are now going out, more than they were before. You have this whole ecosystem of content that is becoming bloated because anybody can put it out there. It's not the issue of too much content being out there. The issue is more so that it's very generic and flat and doesn't resonate because many businesses make the mistake of using the LLM to create content, but they don't give it proper prompting. They don't review it after seeing it, and they don't think about the humanistic elements that need to go into content creation to resonate with your audience. They're taking it at face value, slapping it up on a website and saying, this works. But the reality is that if there are 100 businesses taking that approach, all their content's going to say the same thing. All of it's going to be generic. It's all going to be flat, and none of it is going to stand out to audiences. If you're looking at your audience, they are being inundated with all this flat content, with all this generic content that just doesn't resonate with them. So not only do they have to sort through more, but it's all just saying the same thing, and it's not really grabbing them in or pulling them in and making them want to read it. Obviously, they're kind of like they're tired of it because there's nothing that's really taking a different approach, nothing that's really resonating with them or grabbing their attention. And this kind of aligns with Google's push with information gain. They had put in a patent for information gain a couple of years ago. This is kind of a signal that your content just can't be saying the same thing everybody else is saying. It needs to be helpful. Things like expert insights, those are unique and they add something to the table that differentiates your content from others. But if you're solely relying on AI to put out this content, you and the 100 other businesses who are doing that are just going to all have the same content that's all saying the same thing. You're not creating the opportunity for people in your audience to choose you over a competitor. Because we're in this era of overload and fatigue because content is so easy to create, you may be thinking, okay, maybe I just don't use AI at all. And that's not the case. You can 100% use AI to help in your content creation process. You just have to be smart and tactical about how you do it. It's going to sound crazy, but if you're currently pushing volume and you're just trying to get tons of content out there, the first thing you want to do is just pull back. Pull back and reassess your content to make sure that you're actually putting out good quality content and not just putting out a ton of thin content. That's not going to get you citations. It's not going to get you traffic to your website. What's going to get citations and traffic to your website is focusing on quality and the depth of information that you're offering to your audience. Keep in mind, when you're creating content, it's not just for LLMs. You're still trying to rank in traditional search results. Traditional search is still very strong. It's still a core component of the user journey. You can't get enamored with the race for LLMs and forget that content still needs to rank well in search results in traditional search. Instead, you want to make sure that the quality is good, that you're answering questions, that you're covering things well to the point where someone could just read your resource and that's all they needed. Focus on creating that one good solid source so that you're kind of like the go to authority and the topical authority in that space. Another thing that you can do if you want to try and help your content stand out and break through that fatigue is to kind of take a different perspective or take the opposition. So you don't want to be the opposition if that's not how your company feels, because you don't want to pretend to be something you're not or take a stance that you don't actually believe in just for like the sake of being unique. But taking a different perspective on a topic is a really good way for you to stand out in all this content. So if you have 99 other businesses that all are taking the same angle, the same perspective, and suddenly you're taking a different one, you're the differentiator. You're the unique one. You're more likely to get cited. You're more likely to be pulled because you're standing out for the rest of them. If everybody is saying the same thing, LLMs have no incentive to cite one page over another. Don't be afraid to take a different perspective, take a different angle. You don't have to go the traditional route of what's ranking in search results. You can kind of take the core information that's being presented for that topic and look at it from a new angle or a new perspective. It really helps to build your authenticity too, because it shows that there's humans behind your brand. It's not just a content factory that's just pumping out information with no real thought about what's going into it. And then lastly, if you want to use AI in your content process, which by all means you can, AI should be helping you, but not driving the car. AI should not be the driver. It should not be the sole person getting you from destination A to destination B. If anything, it's like the passenger. It's helping you navigate. It's playing with the radio. It's holding on to the snacks for the car trip. AI should be helping you in this content process, but not doing all of it. Because when you rely on AI to do everything, that's where that generic, flat, uninteresting content comes from. But if you're relying on AI in a partnership way where it's supplementing things, it's helping you, then you're going to see success with your content because you are going to be able to put it out faster. It's going to be well composed, but it's still going to have those elements that are unique. And it's still going to be able to have opportunities for you to add humanistic parts to it so that it resonates with your audience and leverage it for what it can do, for what it's good for in content creation. So things like it can outline. If you give it deep enough specs on your style of writing, it can help you write certain sections of your pages, especially if you're struggling to kind of convey that information. You can ask it for a story that it could tell. What kind of story can I use to better explain this concept? You can do all those sorts of things to help enhance your content so it does have those humanistic aspects to it, but it's done more efficiently. But as always, keep in mind that if you're using AI to create your content, there needs to be oversight. You need to have someone who's looking it over, who's making tweaks to make sure that it resonates with your audience, it sounds humanistic, and it's really kind of creating content that people want to read.